It's like the opposite of a cautionary tale. The only person who took it as a cautionary tale was me. Hey, come on now. Yeah, we'll stars it up. The Magician's not worth too much. Aura is worth a ton, though. Purity, I should say. It must suck to... You know, you would think that... I guess it's like a Darwin Award sort of situation. It's similar to that. We will reroll the whole run. This run is interesting, but it's not like lights out cool. I'm willing to throw things at the wall and see if they stick, but I want to see if we get a deal with the devil first. Because, you know, Eden's Blessing, you know, maybe I won't. We'll see. We got a lot of cool items. We got anti-grav. I'll take it on a case-by-case basis, because I have gotten some it's like, please stop re-rolling really fun one runs. And you're not wrong. I think you can take it on a case-by-case basis and look at this one and be like, dude, very rarely on the second you're gonna have a 3 rate of fire and anti-grav. It's kind of neat. Grab sack of sacks. It's the same thing, like there was the woman in the United States, I believe, who did the Hold Your Wii for a Wii, and she died of kidney failure or something along those lines. Basically, the way that the thing worked is like, you know, Nintendo Wii was in hot demand, and you couldn't get them anywhere. So the radio station had a contest. You had to drink water at a regular interval, and then go the longest you possibly could without urinating in order to win the Nintendo Wii. She was so good at it, she killed her. How ironic is that? And then, beyond just being dead, and, you know, she was probably trying to win it for, like, her kid or something like that. Now she's got to deal with, like, that very same industry, like the radio industry, being like, hey, did you hear about this lady? What an idiot. Why didn't you just go to the bathroom? She wouldn't be dead. Wah, wah. It's time for the Friday morning fart show. That's the worst way to get owned in life and in death. I hope it doesn't happen to me. Did a dude who recorded too many Isaac episodes. I did opt not to reroll, by the way. You know why? Because I loved our rate of fire, and then ironically it was taken away from us. It was like a City of Angels, Gift of the Magi sort of situation. Tried to sanitize that reference and make it accessible for everybody. If you haven't read The Gift of the Magi or unfamiliar with it as a fictional device, you ever see the movie City of Angels, where Nicolas Cage is an angel, and God is real mean. He won't let angels and humans have relationships, so Nicolas Cage gives up his angelhood in order to be with Meg Ryan, and then the dumb idiot just gets into an accident and dies, like, literally that day. And I don't want the world to see me. I believe that's where the soundtrack, that song came from. That would be a much better movie if it starred 2015's Nicolas Cage instead of 1998's Nicolas Cage. Sadly, it's just kind of bad. Where do you fall on that lady who held her urine in? I think I can guess where you fell, but I'd like to hear it straight from the horses' mouths. I'll tell you where I fall, and I'll outline the situation. Is the radio station partly at fault? I think you could make an argument that they are, okay? And I am the kind of person who, well, another good parallel is like the thing at E3 that was like Joseph Gordon-Levitt's company is basically trying to hire artists for spec work and be like, hey, make something for us. If it's really good, we might pay you. And, you know, people, for whatever reason, believe that I'm like a financial libertarian or something like that, because my opinion on that, for now, and I have opened myself up to be educated in the issue, my opinion on that, for now, is if you don't like the deal, don't take the deal. Don't make art for this thing that you feel is exploitative. But I admit a couple of things. By the way, this room was horrendous, but we did get a Tears upgrade. I admit a couple of things. I admit that I'm coming from a little bit of a position of privilege. If you're an artist and, you know, maybe the market is not quite as kind to you as it is to, like, coders, for example, where when people talk about coding for equity, you know, hey, if you make my grocery store app, you can have 10% of the business when it takes off. I estimated it being worth $10 billion. You're like, wow, that's $1 billion. Everyone is like, I will never do that. I want real money, not imaginary money that is unlikely to ever exist. But, you know, I guess maybe different industries have like a different level of luxury when it comes to that. It's like a beggars can't be choosers sort of thing. I don't know. I'm genuinely open to being educated. And I asked. People have brought up points that I think are good. Like, it preys on inexperienced and naive people. So there's a lot of things. I'm not really trying to play devil's advocate. Just, no, this is a bad deal, don't do it. Or learn your lesson by doing it. I don't know. Anyway, the point is, I do think the radio station has a certain degree of culpability. But I do find myself being like, well, if the lady was in physical pain, she should have just urinated. And then it would have been fine. But maybe I'm missing a little bit of nuance. Because there is a... You know, I feel like this is very potentially similar to that coffee situation from McDonald's. Where for like 15 years, I had heard from people, hey, it's like that lady that sued McDonald's because her coffee's hot. Of course it's hot, idiot, it's coffee. And then, you know, when you actually... Fine, I'll take it. When you actually read the court case, she was so in the right to sue McDonald's because the coffee was served like 40% hotter than was supposed to be legal, and it gave her like scalding, like horrible burns. Not the kind of burns you get from like spilling hot coffee on yourself, the kind of burns you get from like magma. So it's just, you know, the headline is like, this dumb idiot sues McDonald's for her own mistake. And the reality of the situation is they basically gave her like plutonium. And then when it burned her, you know, the public relations war started, and they're like, we don't need, she's already, you know, an idiot in the court of public opinion. Who needs the trial? Anyway, I believe she settled. So good for her. Maybe the hold your wee for a wee thing is more nuanced than I think it does. I don't want to judge, especially, you know, she's already been judged enough, you know, by, like, the Lord and all that. Bad joke. Anyway, we'll be telling a bunch of them. Moving on. I do have some sympathy, and I know I'm open to caricature here. Of course, he has some sympathy for the corporation. I don't have sympathy for the radio station so much as I have sympathy for the person at the board meeting who probably on like Monday went, hey, I've got it. Hold your wee for a wee. The overhead for the contest is pretty low. A lot of people will enter. It'll give us some interesting press. Plus, it's got a snappy name. What can go wrong, right? And then on the next Monday morning, after all this stuff went down, like, I just wanted to say, I'm sorry. I didn't intend for any of this to happen. Who would have thought someone would type a rock? Maybe there's, again, I'd hesitate. I'd stop short of being like, what an idiot. Because you never know, you know. Some of the Darwin Project stuff, you go, okay. Like, there's dudes playing, like, poker with a live landmine under their table. If you ever lost a hand, you had to kick the landmine. What do you think's gonna happen? It's gonna go off, and you're gonna be like, wow, that was scary. No, you're gonna probably be seriously injured. If not worse, obviously. Please. Dude, when we get all of our shots lined up, it's beautiful. When all of our shots are not lined up, it reminds me how bad this item can be. But when they stand in the brimstone beam for a long time, it's amazing. Like, the damage is actually really, really high, at least with our rate of fire. But we just can't shoot the beam. They have to stand in the beam. If they stand in the beam, nothing can save them. Unfortunately, they always point in what I would consider to be the wrong direction. At least if I want to shoot left. They always point right. Sissy Longlegs is okay. I gotta look up some more stuff on that hold your Wii for a Wii situation, because I don't know, I feel like there's something they're not telling us. I would like to make a true crime documentary series about that, is all I'm saying. Because I feel like there's a lot of cases. There's another case, and I don't know if this one's real legend. The Hooters Corporation ran a contest and was like, whoever gets the most sales wins a toy Yoda. And then, sure, we'll take Eucharist for more angel deals. When this lady won, they gave her an action figure of Yoda from Star Wars. Basically just a slap in the face. I don't know what the company was expecting. Were they expecting her to be like, you got me? Nah, she took him to court, and they had to give her a toy Yoda. Like a Japanese car. Toy Yoda meme. Contest prank, it's Snopes. Okay. A woman sued a radio station. Oh, there we go. I don't know why I thought it was Hooters. A woman sued a radio station when the Hummer she won in their contest turned out to be a toy rather than a full-sized vehicle. Rating? True. True. Okay, and then hold your Wii for a Wii. They were asked to drink as much water as they could without urinating. A 28-year-old participant died of water intoxication, resulting in Entercom being sued for wrongful death by the participant's family. You know when you... Oh, they shut down the last video. Wrongful death lawsuit, jury selection. The jury awarded the survivors of Jennifer Strange the sum of $16 million in monetary damages. Entercom Sacramento was found to be 100% at fault for Strange's death, while Entercom Communications they found that Strange was at 0% at fault. You know what? It's interesting. Just by very slightly changing the way that they told that story, I 100% agreed that that the radio station was at fault. Mostly because I already know that the court ruled that they were. But no. I thought it was drink 2 liters of water, hold your urine as long as possible. If it's drink as much water as possible without urine, dude, it's exactly the same. I'm an idiot. I just lost our aura there. It's exactly the same situation as the McDonald's coffee lady. That's like having a, you know, you gotta be pretty out there, I think, to assume that if a radio station ran a contest that was like, hey, you know, drink as much beer as possible. And if anything goes wrong, it's your fault, you know? Well, why didn't you just drink less beer? You know, it's water intoxication. I'm not saying it's an easy thing to get, but I'm saying this does kind of set the parameters, doesn't it? Also, I will never forgive that radio station, because now anytime I tell anybody that I drink a glass of water every 90 minutes, friggin' minds. It goes, did you know water intoxication's a real thing? Yeah. I pee. I pee. When I feel the tingle, I go tinkle. It's just that I'm not in danger. So yeah, now. See, that's why I wanted to look more into the story, because anytime a news story makes me feel smart, I am innately suspicious, because it's not that I'm not intelligent. I consider myself at least clever. But, do you ever read, like, a meme or something like that that makes you feel like you're better than other people? You have a reason to be suspicious. It is most cogent observation. Because they're trying to sell you something. I don't know if they're trying to sell you their brand. You know, if they're trying to sell you an idea. You see it all the time in the politics side of Twitter. People will just make something up completely, put it on an image, and then spread it around as fact to make the other side look like idiots. should always be suspicious of any piece of media designed to make you feel intelligent. I'm not saying media should make you feel smart. I'm just saying that media that sets out to make you feel smart is oftentimes the kind of thing to be suspicious of. What do I? Dude, this has been a marquee shop for us. Very happy. I don't know what we need on this run. I think we're actually in a pretty good spot. We're not going to be able to make boss rush, but I would like a permanent rate of fire increase. I think that would be nice. But apart from that, I'm feeling... So you know what? I apologize. Even for the... Although I have come back around on the other side, and now I'm completely against the radio station. Mostly because I got the parameters of the contest wrong to begin with. They're probably annoyed by just spreading misinformation at the start of that. You know, I do take it serious, and this is not that serious of an issue. It happened 10 years ago. I mean, except for the whole, you know, nine, it's all meant to be in good fun at least, but... You know, I have an audience. I try to be responsible with that audience. I don't like to spread misinformation, makes other people's lives harder. That's really what it comes down to. If something's true, but uncomfortable, saying it is okay. If something's wrong, it just makes someone else's life more difficult. That's why I was really annoyed when Super Mario Party Online got announced. And I was like, is there online? And then Austin was like, there's no online. And then I was like, are you sure there's no online? And he said, they said no online. And then literally the next day, Nintendo was like, there's gonna be some online. I was like, ah. It's an honest mistake, but also it's like my largest pet peeve. Is when my modest platform has been used for misinformation. Drives me crazy, man. It's not Austin's fault. That's not true. It is Austin's fault. It's just not that big of a deal. But it uniquely bothers me for whatever. Because I don't know. I think the reason I get disillusioned with some of that stuff is because I think that there's lots of like real stuff to be mad about and make fun of alternatively. You don't need to, like, be mad about something that isn't real. Like, that's where it just becomes, like, there's better things to do. I'm not suggesting he made it. I think it was probably the way that it went down is, like, did they say anything about online? And then someone in his chat was like, they didn't say something about online. And then somebody else was like, yeah, no online. And then all of a sudden, through the game of Twitch telephone, it becomes like, Nintendo's never heard of the internet. I know how it happens. I've been around the block a few times. I know how it goes. I think especially, you know, even though we work in the video game industry, it's important, especially as accusations of fake news go flying around. I feel like a double responsibility to at least be responsible in the dissemination of information. Because I have to be cognizant of the fact that in my head, I don't think anybody is like, my number one source for gaming news, Northern Lions Isaac videos, but this still has an impact, right? Like the round table. And I get tilted more than anything else on round table. We end up talking for 10 minutes about a news story that ends up being speculation or just not real or at least misrepresented by the headline. Because there are probably people that only get their... And in my head, I'm like, I'm just a dude talking about the industry, but like, you know, to them, we're the starting point for a rumor that they tell to their friends, and then who knows? I'm not saying it's 10,000 people as a result of our podcast. You know, for 15 cents, we can guarantee. Just gonna try to get there. I'd rather keep the well, I don't really want to use cracked dice, to be honest, because the Emperor card is really, really good. So instead, oh, I don't mind the potato peeler. Alright, let's get out of here. We're gonna use the Emperor. Well, we can use the Emperor to get out of boss rush if the items are good. And they're really gonna be free. So we might as well at least think about it. I hate this room when you can't fly. Oh, we've done it. Okay. See, that's the damage we can do when the time is right. So we'll grab this. Honestly, I guess I will be taking an item then. I'll take Bumbo, and I guess I'll take Nod Leaf. I got very confused by what was happening there. That's okay. So Eucharist has allowed us to get this, and we will be fighting this guy, but that's fine, because the soul is absolutely worth it. Nod Leaf is still great, don't get me wrong. It's just like, Bumbo I think was more useful, even though neither of them are going to matter in the face of Bumbo. I think that I was 19 in that Hold Your Weevil release, and I definitely remember, at least in my memory, and you know, memory's not always infallible, but I thought I recalled like almost all of the news reports being like, peculiar story out of Michigan today, big ol' idiot dies like a moron. That news went viral. What I do not remember hearing, because it probably aired about 90 minutes into the 89-minute news program, was, hey, remember that lady we called an idiot? And then, you know, let's pull the veil back a little bit. I basically called her an idiot like less than 15 minutes ago. But now things have changed in light of new information. $16 million, and the court ruled that she was 100% in the right, and the radio station was 100% in the wrong. I don't remember that story. I seem to have forgotten. Must have missed that one on Dateline, Mr. Ted Koppel. I don't know. Does Ted Koppel work for Dateline? Is Ted Koppel a real human being? I do not know, okay? I don't watch the American news. I watch Twitter, which is totally different. Get out of here, mister. Well, if it's not abundantly clear, this run is like so